I noticed that actually just watching it, and what I was thinking about that was that, Felicity, tell me if you think this is right, that you didn't want to, your face is almost like a mask in the movie, as if you're trying to not betray too much of what you're feeling, because what you're feeling at this point is such kind of confusion. And so...
No, she's not feeling confusion. What she's feeling is intense, and I can't think of the right word, it's like intense Mach 4 of self-consciousness, because she doesn't represent to the world the way she feels inside. So all she can hope is she comes in under the radar, just don't look at me. I'm not tall, I'm not big. She doesn't know how to do her makeup. Her hair's a little funky from the hormones, which happens. And so it's not that she's lost, it's that...
What's the phrase they use when they're made? When they're
clocked.
Clocked. When someone realizes that it's a transgendered person, they're clocked. And that's the biggest fear.
Yeah, they live in... Yeah, it's horrible, because you're pointed out as, a freak.
So Felicity, you won a Best Acting Award at the Tribeca Film Festival. So, Bill Macy, what's the next step with the movie? As a producer of it, now what?
Harvey Weinstein has bought it for his new company, and it will be released late in the year, December, hopefully. And it will go on to make $100 million domestically and break all records in Europe.
If you're just joining us, my guests are Felicity Huffman and William H. Macy. And she's starring in this movie, Transamerica, that he produced. And now, Bill Macy, the last time you were on Fresh Air, this was like 1993. We talked a lot about your approach to acting and what you'd learned from working with David Mamet in theater and in movies. And I remember you talking about how you're not into the method, and you're into always asking, like, what's your motive? Like, why? What do you want the other person to do? What action are you trying to get them to do with what you're saying? And it's kind of different from like the method approach of like drawing on your deepest emotional memories that might approximate what the character's going through. Do you both have the same approach to acting? Do you?
I think we do, and I think Transamerica is an excellent example of that. Felicity has a serious characterization to do. Her voice is different, her walk is different, her look is different. Every physical thing about her is different. But why the film works so well is that she didn't forget to act. And that happens so often for an actor. When it's a high-wire act with this characterization, you forget to act. You forget to look at the other person. And the reason the film works so well is that it's just her, ultimately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we approach work the same way. I mean, I was constantly, because Bill was home a lot with the girls, I would say several times a day I was calling Bill for coaching on a scene, and we work that way a lot. I call him from Desperate Housewives.
What kind of advice do you ask?
Oh, I read the scene over. I fax him the scene or the rewrites, and we read it together. And I sort of say, "What do you think it means? What do you think she wants? How should I approach it?"
We do it with each other. Sometimes you can miss the forest for the trees when it's a scene.
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
When it's a scene, you have to act in moments. Really, an outsider can look at it with a little bit fresher eye. Really.
My guests are actors William H. Macy and Felicity Huffman. More after a break. This is Fresh Air. My guests are Felicity Huffman and William H. Macy, two great actors who are also married. Bill Macy, you became well-known before Felicity Huffman did. And now, Felicity Huffman, you're very well-known yourself through Desperate Housewives. Did you ever worry about an imbalance of of fame or success within the relationship. I mean, that's in some relationships a real problem. If one person becomes well known or successful in their line of work before their partner does, and that for some people it doesn't really matter. For others, it could be a real problem.
Felicity's always been nothing but generous with me. It exists for me. If my career were suddenly in the toilet, I think it would be an issue for me, but so far I love her success, and I'm in no hurry to go back to work, and she can support me in the manner to which I'd like to be accustomed for a long time before it's going to hurt my ego.
But for a long time you were well known, and Felicity Huffman, you weren't known at all, or barely. So was that problematic for you?
I can honestly say, and it's not because I'm virtuous, I've never had a moment's problem with it. I think because it was the way it was when we got together. I mean, when we got together, he wasn't known on the level he's known now, but he was known as a great actor around New York City, and he's always been the kind of actor, and the level of his game is something that I aspire to. So I sort of came in doing that. You know, I knew where it was, and he's always, I don't know how to say this, but he's just always better than I am and smarter than I am, and so I like it.
How did you both meet, Bill?
The Atlantic Theater Company.
Through the Atlantic Theater Company in New York City.
And you were both acting in it?
I was teaching and Felicity was a student, but I didn't touch her, Terry. I didn't touch her until long after she had graduated, hours after she had graduated.
Oh, so
can't believe you said that. I was so willing to go right around it.
The word's out. There's no hiding anymore.
All right.
Was that awkward while you were her teacher?
We didn't get together until after I was graduated.
The company had been formed for a while.
It was the theater company. Yeah.
Our relationship was really more of company members.
Yeah.
And
except that all the girls had crushes on Bill, I have to tell you.
Now she tells me.
Let me play a scene of you together, and this is from the series Sports Night, in which Felicity Huffman, you played a producer of an ESPN-type sports show. And Bill Macy, for a few episodes, you played a consultant who's brought in to boost the ratings, and you have very strong opinions of how to do that, and you're trying to tell the producers what they should be doing to improve the show. So here's a scene where you've come into the control room and you're telling the producer, Felicity Huffman, what she should do.
Hey.
Good evening.
Show seems a little stiff tonight, don't you think?
Yes, I do.
Maybe even stiffer than last night.
I believe it is.
You know why?
Because you're freaking everyone out?
Could be.
Stand by 57 and 58.
You know what I'd do if I were you?
Kill myself?
No, I'd whisper in their ear.
I beg your pardon?
The two of you, whisper something in their ear.
What are you talking about?
Men like the sound of a woman whispering in their ear. They get playful.
Why don't we just get them a lap dance?
No, we don't have that kind of time, but I like your thinking.
Listen.
Whisper in their ear.
I'm not whispering in their ear. Natalie's not whispering in their ear.
If you want,
Kim's not whispering in their ear. You've gotten everything you've wanted. We've been totally cooperative. But I'm afraid from 11 to 12, this is my show. And I'll deal with things the way I deal with things.
Okay.
That's William H. Macy and Felicity Huffman in a scene from the former ABC series Sports Night, which is out on DVD. So when you worked on that together, did you talk, again, like your approach to acting has to do with what are you getting the other person to do by saying what you say? Did you talk about that kind of thing with each other, or should you not show your cards to each other when you're going to be in a scene together?
No, we totally show our cards to each other. Yeah.
And that doesn't diminish the power or anything, because the other character knows how you're trying to manipulate them.
No, because it lives in the moment. It doesn't live in what you practiced in the dressing room or at rehearsal in the afternoon. It lives in the moment. And if Bill does something different, I'll react differently. And if I do something different, he reacts differently. So you don't bring in something you rehearsed earlier. You live in the moment, and that's constantly changing.
And it's not as if it's a